Let's go. Done waiting for the intro. What's up, everyone? Long time no see. How's it going? You may notice that I'm not at my home studio. I told people previously that I can no longer stream when I'm not at my home studio for various reasons that I won't get into. We're making an exception tonight because it's just been so long since I've streamed. And my schedule's not getting any lighter. It's a confluence of several things that's occurring. Life events. You get to spring and it's like weddings and bridal showers and bachelorette parties and bachelor parties and graduation parties and family reunions and none of those yet. That's usually later. Plus then we had things pre-planned for my man Hank. We went to the water park last week. It was a lot of fun. And then work's just crazy. Work's crazy. I'm working 100-hour weeks. So there's a lot that I would like to do to stream more, and unfortunately I can't find the time. So tomorrow and Thursday should be regular scheduled streams from my home setup, which will be nice to be back there, jumping back in. I got some irons in the fire, some things coming up that I think will be interesting. I can't wait to get into those. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I really do apologize. I know, particularly coming off Tim Pool's show, which was a goal of mine to get on that show, which my audience is basically the reason I got on that show for all the promotion everyone does for me. I feel terrible not capitalizing on that by doing a lot of streams afterwards. But I don't know what I could do. Like, it's literally, immediately following being on Tim Pool, my wife had to leave the state for a month or for a week, and so I was single dad, and with a 3-year-old it just wasn't possible for me to stream while being single dad there. Crisco, get back to work. Professional angler or police officer? I can never remember, Crisco, which one you are. So that's sort of what's been going on. I do feel bad, I apologize, but what's the sense of just rehashing all of that? Everyone knows at this point. So let's talk a little about, as we wait for people to come in, what went on with my life. We took Hank to a Great Wolf's Lodge. I think it's a chain, but it's kind of like a big woodsy type hotel situation that has a little kids indoor water park, arcade and stuff. It was awesome. Hank had a blast. I had a blast. Courtney had a blast. It was a lot of fun. Hank dragging my fat butt around these like kids water obstacle courses, and it's cool. Like, so it's got like little valves you could turn that spray water, and buckets you could dump, and buttons you could push that spray water. So of course I'm Hank's punching bag. So stand here, Dad, and then soaks me, and it was fun though. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time with him. We went to one of those animal safaris you could drive through. I got spit on by a llama. Then a big camel took my cup of food, took the whole cup from me, and Hank thought that was the funniest. That's right. Finally, the Rob has come back to streaming. Yeah. It was all that good stuff. And then, of course, I was home for 1 hour. We got home for 1 hour, and then I had to come right into work, and I've been here ever since. So I went work. As soon as I got off work, was a Wednesday. We left within an hour of me being home. Got back Saturday at 2, within an hour of being right back to work. So that's where I've been. That's why I was unable to stream, because it's just been since not this previous Sunday, but since the Sunday before, I have literally not spent a night at home. I haven't been there. It's been like 11 days. So it's tough in that world to be able to stream. But don't feel bad for me. It's not like I'm digging ditches or anything. I like my job. And I certainly loved my family, so it was fun. I had a good time, but I do feel bad that I wasn't able to stream. Some sort of big announcements for the show. One really big announcement that I think is going to impact my show in a very positive way, and I'll be sure to mention this again. So, I don't know, depending on what platform you're on, I know on X you won't be able to see it, but hopefully on YouTube and Twitch, in the sort of about this video section, you should be able to see, it's usually the same message. Here's my link to YouTube. Here's my link to Twitch, blah, blah, blah. The top thing that should say now is, I actually finally got myself an editor. which I think is going to do amazing things for my channel. And it's someone who most of the chat will know. It's Black Elk, who's been a friend of the show, who's quite frequently chatting on the chat here. So I don't know if he's watching right now, but he's helping me with that in an incredibly generous way. We've had a decent phone conversation about what we're doing. We each have goals that we would like to achieve. Black Elk wants to grow his skill set as an editor and hopefully propel the great work he's going to do for me into potentially, making a career out of this. And if that means moving on to a bigger channel that needs someone with quality editing capabilities, more power to him. I'm more than happy to be part of it. And I think he's incredibly generous in offering to help me out with this. For me, the reason that I want an editor is, one, because I'm lazy. Second, because I primarily stream because it's fun. That's my motivation. And I hate editing. I'm bad at it. It takes me forever. I don't have an interest in learning about it, but I know it's very important. So the idea is that I'll keep doing live streams like this, and then we'll start to get into a pattern where Black Elk will then, that evening, edit 5-10 minute sections, make a thumbnail, make a video, put it up on my YouTube channel, and then people that aren't really able to get into the accessibility of a 3-hour live stream will be hopefully more able to have access to like a 5-10 minute video. That's the idea, to try to grow my channel in that way by having those videos. Other things that he's going to do is anytime that I talk to someone on the channel, so let's say I take a random call today, he will edit that out as its own section and then get that video up with that person's name. That's not just for the audience, because I think they like seeing those interactions, and you don't want to have to sift through an hour and a half of me rambling on about being at the water park to see me get into some debate. So that'll be good for the audience, but it'll actually be very helpful for me because I have a pretty good memory of when I debate people, but I forget exactly what video it is. So for example, tonight's video is titled Bragg's Kangaroo Court. Let's say Dylan Burns calls in 2 hours in and we have an hour debate. 6 months from now, when I'm like, remember when I debated Dylan in April? I'm never going to find that video just from the title Bragg's Kangaroo Court. But if Black Elk edits that out and says Rob Noerr talks to Dylan Burns about X, then I'll be able to find that video quite easily. So I'm very excited for it. I think it's going to make my channel more accessible, and it's going to get content out there. Hopefully, at least 5 days a week, we'll be able to space that content out. And we'll see whatever works for Black Elk as far as the timing of that. But hopefully it's like the same time every day, like 5 p.m., that he would be able to release that. So you'll have something to expect. No, John Ward, I need to... Robert, send me an email. And I will definitely... I'll get in touch with him. The other thing Black Elk's going to do is I think he's going to mess with my format here. My logos, my sort of borders, things like that. So what I need from the audience is this, and I promise this is the last I'll talk about this. 2 things. Just be brutally honest if you think that there's things you like, you dislike about changes to the channel stylistically, as far as like changing the border, the logos, maybe some of the sounds, like, songs or stuff that we're using. Let us know. Both Black Elk and I have talked about this. The whole point is to make a product that the audience is entertained by and enjoys. So the best way to know that is from the audience just being honest with us. The other thing you could all do, this would be incredibly beneficial to me. And I mean, a huge thank you to anyone that would do this. Especially the YouTube audience, but you could do it on Twitch as well. When the video's over, either clip or timestamp. Timestamping would be even better. If you could put, not on the live chat, but when the video is over, hey, at the 1 hour, 10 minute mark, you should clip that. That's a really good section. Because what that will allow Black Elk to do is say, oh, here's a section that people thought would be worth its own 5-minute clip. I could go directly there. Otherwise, we're left to our own devices re-watching a 3-hour video and trying to pick out a 10-minute section. So anything that you have, whether it be in the live chat or even better afterwards, There is a channel named robnoerr on YouTube that's not me. That is me. That actually is me. I had to set that up for grad school. So it's got like 4 subscribers in one video and some shitty, like artsy fartsy video. Yeah, that's me. It was literally, it was a final project, believe it or not, for this art class that I took. So it probably is me. Oh, you reported it. I don't give a shit. Yeah, that's me. That's legit me. So there is a Twitter handle that's me, that's not me for sure, and I tried to report it. Thank you, Levin, for the sub. Yeah, EOD's on it. Bam, mother, gotcha. So that's it with the editing thing. I talked to Andrew Wilson from the Crucible. We're gonna bring back the arena for like once a month. I'll see if Aftershock's willing to work with me with that again, so I'll be hosting that show. I think instead of doing it every weekend with as busy as I am, if we do it like one Thursday a month, one Friday a month, I think that'll give us time to set up guests, get sort of a topic that we could all agree on, and I think that'll be more manageable. Also, Andrew has been touring like a madman in real life, going like Fresh and Fit, whatever. All these other podcasts, he's been traveling in real life and doing, obviously, remotely. Oh, thanks. Okay, I appreciate that. But he's ready to get back in the hosting debate game. So I think I have volunteered my services, particularly when Andrew's debating. If he needs me as a moderator on days that I'm available, I'm more than happy to moderate. And certainly I would love to do a lot of debates. So any debates that you would like to see, go ahead and message in my Discord or send me an email. If you think there's a particular person you would like to see me debate on a particular topic, let me know, because that's what Andrew wants. He wants to be able to reach out to people and say, will you debate robnoerr on this topic? Now, honestly, I'm open to debating anyone on any topic, but I think it'll really help if we can get a list compiled like that. And, yeah, other than that, I think I have a debate lined up next Thursday. I don't know who my partner is. It might be EOD, but it's going to be against Jeb Tan and Conor, supposedly 4 Republican voters. I will be on the side of supporting Trump. They will be on the side of not voting for Trump. And I believe that's what the debate should be about. So, yeah, Rampage Paul. Yeah, me and EOD. Shooing. That's I don't know if they're taking bets on this debate, but put your money on EOD and me. I guarantee it. Now, normally I don't do this, but I will now that you're on. I'm not going to talk to you in private about this. I think it's so funny how many times I debate people, and like on a panel, and they pondering or ruminate, whatever he calls himself now. And Hutch the other day when I was on that panel like a month ago, they were like, well, when we were talking about our strategy beforehand. I love it. I wonder how many times people like spend all week preparing to debate me and then just get fucking wrecked. Meanwhile, my preparation, and it is something, I talked about this the other day, like, man, the amount of research I used to do, even before I had a channel, was insane. I used to read thousands of pages, probably a month, on court cases and scandals and things of that nature. Now it's like being a dad and working so much. This is kind of like flying by the seat of my pants. I do what I can. If I had the time to research like I used to, it'd be a train wreck. But I think I do just fine anyways. David Hogg on guns would love, that would be great. Yeah, Zent's forehead. Last time he streamed I was single. I have a wife with 3 kids. Now listen, it's only been like a week and a half. Are you raising someone else's kids then? So I can't wait though to get back into debating some people. Oh, but what I was going to say is this, EOD. I think that my strategy going into this debate, EOD, is I'm going to try to be polite, particularly to Conor, because I like Conor, even if he did sell out. And I'm going to try my best, and I rarely do this, but I'm going to try my best to sell at least to Conor that he should vote for Trump. Now, I would say the chance of me convincing him are less than 5%, but I do think there's a chance. Now, when I'm debating someone like Hutch or Peace Guard, they ain't going to change their mind. I get that. So I'm not going to be like, fuck you, you work with these progressives, blah, blah, blah. Debate's next Thursday. Yeah, Jeb's Jeb, whatever. So that's that. All right, let's get into it. So, I got good stuff. We can pick on Hutch a lot today. Now, there is a chance. I called Hutch out, said I would love to talk to him on these corruption cases. I did not see the debate Andrew had with Hutch yet, though, but we might review that. I heard it was pretty brutal, and Aftershock messaged me. Let me say this about Hutch to defend Hutch a little here, because I don't want any misconceptions based on something that I said. I debated Hutch on a panel. I think previously I'd been on a panel years ago with Hutch. Then I did a panel here like last month with Hutch. I went in Tim Pool's show, that like 3 days after I debated Hutch on that panel. And Hutch messaged me a day or two later and was like, the exact words he said was, hey, would you be down to have a conversation soon? I thought I was getting a bunch of those types of messages that were about like being on Tim Pool's show. It wasn't like, do you want to debate on X? People were like, hey, I would love to do an interview, love to do a conversation. So I thought it was going to be a conversation, though I secretly hoped, and I told my wife this, I hope it's not just another interview. I'd love to do a debate. So we get on, and basically it becomes a debate, and we're talking about sexuality of kids in school and Christian nationalism, etc., etc. All fine. I think Hutch looked like a chump. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't want people thinking like, oh man, Hutch was this super mean-spirited person that ambushed Rob. Maybe, but that's not how I took it. Honest to goodness, that's how I feel. I don't want people thinking like, oh, Rob's complaining that he felt that like he got tricked into a debate. I did not. That's not how I felt. I was happy that it turned out to have more disagreement, so no hard feelings whatsoever. Because I know Andrew apparently told Hutch like, you fucking say you want to have a conversation with Rob and then try to ambush him, and kind of gave him the business. Which is fine. Andrew's Andrew. He's going to do his own thing. But that's it. That's all I had to say about it. Anywho, it's talking a lot of big talk on X from Hutch today with me. And I messaged over and over. I said to him, love to debate you on this anytime that I'm available. And he never responded. And then one of his supporters responded like, oh, you keep saying when I'm available. That's your way of getting out of it. No, that's my way of, I'm not a full-time streamer. I actually, unlike, you see the left, and this whole conversation we're about to talk about, this is a theme that you'll see go throughout tonight's show. The left, so many of them don't know what it's like to be like a real fucking person. I gotta watch my F words. Sorry. Particular things might be clipped. So many people on the left don't understand what it's like to sort of just have a regular life. Particularly on these platforms that we're on. Like, I noticed a lot of the right-wing streamers that I interact with, Let's Be Frank, Aircraft Sparky, Drone Tech, Andrew Wilson, they have their fathers, they have jobs or retired had jobs, they have real-life friends, they have real-life events that they go to. A lot of these left-wing streamers you see, that's not them. They're students. Or they're people that have never lived on their own. Or they're people that don't really have an actual job. They're just full-time streamers or part-time streamers. And so, as always, they view the world through their lens and can't think of other people, living life in a different way. And so, when I'm careful to tell someone, I'll debate you when I'm available, I choose those words on purpose because my availability is so strict at this point because I'm working 100-hour weeks. So I can't do it Monday night. I can't do it almost any Tuesday night. I can't do it most Saturday nights or Sunday nights. So it's going to have to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It probably can't be during the day because I'm a dad and I'm doing stuff with my kid. So that's it. That's all. It wasn't like I was trying to have some coded message, but I had mentioned was like, no, I'm not running from the debate. I offered the debate over and over again, and Hutch hasn't said sure. And then to that comment, Hutch said, I would be down to talk. I said, great. I have off tomorrow and Thursday. Well, tomorrow evening and then Thursday. So we'll see. Maybe I'll be having a conversation midday with Hutch. particularly on topic that I'm quite familiar with, that I think is probably the most important topic, which is the double standard in our legal systems in attacking Trump and allowing his opponents to have a separate legal standard. Particularly the two cases that we were referring to on X, as we argued today, was the over Letitia James Mar-a-Lago case, where Trump ended up being fined $500 million, and then the currently going Bragg case that's going on. And so that's what we will be talking about if I do end up communicating with him and getting on the show. But the whole conversation with Hutch today, it's not really treading new water. And like it's so funny because I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or if he's just confused. My guess is that Hutch probably watched a YouTube video or two, or a streamer or two, and then developed opinions. He just got the talking points necessary to get his point across on, like, Orange Man bad and it's okay to go after him and blah, blah, blah. But he can't think through the positions. Now, here's something that I respect about some people, even that I disagree with. When you have a consistent worldview, and then it enables you to talk about things that you may not know the actual particulars. So let me give you an example of people that I don't necessarily agree with on everything, but they have a consistent worldview. The ANCAPs, Fabian Liberty, Casimir, both smart guys. I enjoy both of them. I'm friendly with both of them. Talk to them anytime. I talk to Casimir more than Fabian, but I like Fabian too. They're able to talk about a litany of topics because they have a worldview that they are able to then interpret specific situations. So, for example, you could have a discussion with Casimir on homelessness and what should be done about it. And because he has a coherent worldview, even if you disagree with it, he's going to be able to have a conversation. Now, if you said, what about this particular homeless man, John Smith, that committed this particular crime last Tuesday? He might say, well, I don't know the details of exactly what happened, but explain it to me and I'll give my honest opinion. Now, that's how good faith people, even those you disagree with, that's how they act, right? So when we're talking about issues of morality or issues of legality, we would say, well, let's set forth some standards that we believe in and go from there. Now, this is particularly important when it comes to evaluating questions of whether or not our institutions engage in a double standard. Whether it be our legal institutions, i.e. who's being charged and prosecuted with crimes, or whether it be just sort of our cultural institutions and what we find culturally acceptable. Such as, it's not a crime issue, but Twitter, who they're banning for terms of service violations, what constitutes, a reasonable ban, etc. Things like that. Who should be allowed to speak on a college campus? Yeah, I saw that, Trice. I'll talk to Destiny about that stuff in the future here. Now, I've debated it enough, and not just online here, like on what you see me doing debating, but also in real life, talking to people. I did policy debate in college, which is a little different because that's literally a game. But I spent a lot of time arguing, including politics, with people in real life, my associates, in debate and outside of debate with those people in the debate. Because believe it or not, people that like the game of debate, once the round is over, you still argue about other shit while you're out to dinner and stuff. So a lot of politics, disagreements, arguments that went on like that. Almost everyone in the debate community is super left-wing, so even the people that became my friends, I was always arguing with when it came to issues of politics. That's just the way it went. It's fine, And then I did a lot of debating on websites like Above Top Secret, which is a conspiracy theory blog, but basically, for my purposes, it was a politics blog. I didn't talk a lot of conspiracy theories, at least not what I would consider conspiracy theory. I talked what I thought was issues of corruption within our government. And I've talked about this quite frequently. One of the things I learned is you have to get people to flush out what their standard is at the beginning of the conversation. Because if you don't, particularly when you're talking, I won't be abstract. I'll give you the specific instances that I'm talking about. When you're talking about issues of legal cases into Donald Trump. So back when I was on Above Top Secret, it's 2017, we're talking about FISA warrants to spy on Trump's team. Russiagate, looking into Trump for colluding with Russia. Flynn being charged. Papadopoulos being charged. Carter Page being spied on. Roger Stone being charged. All of this is the stuff we're talking about back then. You know, what I realized was, if you just had a conversation like you would with your friends, where you're talking about something because you trust your friend, you and your friend are arguing who's the greatest pitcher of all time, you implicitly understand you're talking in good faith. Like, unless there's something on the line, if it's just two friends talking, you're not worried, like, this guy doesn't really believe Satchel Paige. He's bullshitting me for some reason. Because he's bad faith. Of course, world-renowned GOM. Of course someone like you's welcome here. Wait until my buddy Key Lime Platypus comes. Key Lime, I used to ban him every day just for the hell of it, and then we bring him back by the end of the show. Of course you're welcome here. Of course. So anyways, this is how something like that would work. They would say, well, we had to spy on Trump's team. We had to get those FISA warrants. Because the allegations were so serious that a presidential candidate and then president and his team were colluding with a hostile foreign power and maybe puppets of a hostile foreign power. So we had to get to the bottom of it. The allegations were so serious. And so then the simplest question becomes, okay, then what's your standard for this is the point where the allegation is serious enough, requires FISA warrants, spying on a presidential campaign, etc. What's your standard? Because if you don't get them to say what their standard is, do you know what their standard, you know, when you finish the debate, what they're going to say? Can anyone guess at the end of the day what they'll say? When you're like, okay, here's 10 instances of people, accusations of presidential campaigns colluding with hostile foreign powers. What are they going to say? Every time. It's universal. Okay, nothing's universal. So 95% of the time you debate someone on this, they're going to say the same. Well, it's not just it's different. That's ultimately what they're saying. But they're going to say, the thing I'm talking about is exactly what Trump did. That's the issue. Exactly what Trump did. This one's different. That's the standard this time. Exactly right, Lineback. Exactly what they'll do every time. Exactly. That's why it's so important when these stories... You remember when they raided Mar-a-Lago, they got the FBI warrant? Immediately I talked with Pisco, and I'll try to find this debate. Hopefully it didn't get deleted. And I was like, let's go through, Pisco, now that neither of us know anything. We just know the place got raided. What do we think would be acceptable? What do we think would be over the line? And I was saying things like, I don't think they should raid an ex-president unless all options have been exhausted. Clearly that wasn't the case with Trump. He was still cooperating. They could have done more, etc., etc. They shouldn't raid. It's not worth it. Over that type of shit, once they did decide they were going to raid, the warrant should have been so narrowly tailored. Seemingly it was the opposite. They were taking napkins. They were taking passports. They were taking ball bats. Like, this is crazy. Because if you don't have that conversation, the way the debate will go at the end, once every detail comes out, will be, yeah, what they did was the acceptable way. Exactly what they did is acceptable. And exactly what Trump did is the reason that it was acceptable. So, going back to the allegations against Trump were so serious, therefore the FISA warrant was justified. Okay, tell me, what are the allegations? And this is, I've told this story before, it was a good, who I would consider a good left-wing debater on that platform, was like, the allegations of a presidential campaign having such numerous connections with a hostile foreign power going into an election. Okay, that's the standard? Yeah. I was like, okay, let's go through about 14 connections from Hillary's campaign to Russia. And then they were like, well, that's different. That's different. Now, at the end of the day, does that really change? Because that's what they were going to say anyways. Not really. But hopefully there's someone out there watching that's objective or that's not really harsh on either side, that's willing to have an open mind that would say, well, wait a minute. That's not the standard you started with. The reason is because these people, as I say this all the time, you remember when I said that the reason that person today said, oh, the reason you said when I'm available is that you're trying to duck the debate. And I said that's because they project on, they have all the free time in the world because they don't have a job where they're working 90 hours a week. They don't have a family, etc. So they assume that's the way it is for other people. It couldn't be when I say when I'm available, it's because I only have availability 2-3 nights a week. Couldn't be that. It's because they're projecting. It's the same here. Now, there are people that have a cult-like following of Donald Trump. I'm not one of them. Now, we have a friend here, world-renowned Geohound, says he saw me through Destiny. A lot of people in Destiny's audience mistakenly think that I'm just some Trump sycophant. I'm not. I wanted Vivek more than Trump. I wanted DeSantis more than Trump. But I was willing to support any of those three if they won the primary. The best thing that could have happened for my political ideology would have been for Trump to be imprisoned before the primary was over. Then someone like DeSantis winning the primary and rallying people around how corrupt the system is. That would have been the best for me. If Trump goes to jail tomorrow, my life's not going to change. At all. The only thing it would do is possibly benefit my political side. But so many people in Destiny's audience and these left-wing people's audience think that I'm just some Trump sycophant. It also ignores the fact that if you talk to any of my audience that's followed me for a long time, I've probably made more articulate cases against Trump than almost any lefty you know. And not just, paying lip service. I criticized Trump when it mattered. I criticized Trump in March of 2020 about his COVID policies. I criticized Trump when he was bombing Syria. I criticized Trump when he was massively spending. The whole Tea Party movement was about, we need fiscal conservatism. Then Trump gets in there and spends like a crazy person. I criticized Trump for some of the crazy-ass tweets that he had. None of that matters. Now, Rob will say anything to defend Donald Trump. My worldview is quite simple. I'm a single-issue voter. I think the biggest issue in our country right now is that we have institutions that do not care about the average constituent in this country. They don't care. I don't care if you're a lefty, if you're a righty, if you're white, you're black, you're Jewish, you're Christian, you're atheist, you're gay, you're straight. I don't spend a lot of time talking about those issues. Now, I happen to be Christian. I happen to delve into cultural issues from time to time. I have my feelings, but my big issue is corruption. A bunch of people run this country that don't care about us, and our voice doesn't matter. I particularly focus on issues in rural America, where I've lived my whole life. Bump stock ban, yep, another one I criticized Trump over. None of that matters, though. So when I say, I don't care, I've said from the get-go, if Trump committed crimes, fine, send him to jail, I don't care. The problem I have is understanding that more powerful than any individual president or politician or judge are the institutions themselves. In other words, at best, Biden and Trump could serve 4 more years. Then they're done. But the FBI will be there forever. Prosecutors selectively prosecuting people, they'll be there forever. The CIA will be there forever. Our institutions, like the media or Hollywood or academia, they're going to be there long afterwards, influencing culture and politics much more than any one president. And so what I'm interested in, if those institutions that will be there longer and are more powerful are corrupt or engaged in a double standard to put their thumb on their scale of which direction this country goes, that's a far bigger issue than Trump, Biden, Hillary, Obama, Bush. Thanks, Face. I appreciate it. Now, why do I bring this all up? Because the reason that so many people on the left say, you're obsessed with Trump, you'll do anything to defend him, is because they're projecting. They're obsessed with Trump. That's why. Therefore, they assume you must be. Their worldview amongst politically, the number one important thing is we must take down Trump. These could be people that hated the FBI their entire life. Said, I think the FBI did terrible things to MLK. I think the FBI did terrible things to set up Muslim groups after the Patriot Act was passed. I think the FBI did terrible things to left-wing groups, Abby Hoffman and other groups like that. The Vietnam protesters, etc. But all of a sudden, they're the biggest supporters in the world of the FBI if the FBI is going after Donald Trump. They could be people that championed free speech their whole life and thought free speech was very important. Now, no, we don't like free speech because that might benefit Donald Trump and his supporters. And the list goes on and on. So when I say this to them, when I say, your worldview is, I hate Trump, they'll say, no, I believe in other things. And it's true, they do believe in other things as well. But the number one issue is hating Trump. And they project that. If you disagree with them, it must be because all you care about is defending Trump and loving Trump. Well, it's not true. That's not the case with me. And so, that brings us to today. The Alvin Bragg case. When you bring up the absurdity of the double standard of the Bragg case, the implicit idea that comes in the head of the lefties is, you're defending Trump no matter what. Who's more obsessed with Trump? The people who don't like him or the people that go to rallies and wear the merch? I think there is a far bigger obsession with the people that hate Trump than people that like Trump. There are certainly people that obsess over Trump and like him in an unhealthy way. But the amount of powerful people and the quantity of people that hate Trump in unhealthy ways far outweighs. Far outweighs. What are the allegations in the Bragg case? There you go. DJ Farmboy, what's the relevance of that? If we're talking about unhealthy, just like there were a lot of reasons for people to like Obama for what he represented, that's the same way with Trump. Regardless of what people here might think, I think it's a terrible idea to vote for someone based on their skin color or their ethnicity. I think that's a terrible idea. However, you're also just being naive if you can't understand why the election of Barack Obama in 2008 was such a big deal to a lot of people. If you were black and you lived through the civil rights movement, even if you were Republican and you voted against Obama, you can't help but see that as a benchmark that matters. This isn't the bullshit, the first lesbian of color to ever be, the press secretary. That's bullshit. Those things are bullshit. But Obama being president was a big deal. That's a glass ceiling that I think was worth pointing out the historic nature of it. And there were a lot of people, I think Obama was shit. I knew this going into the 2008 election, that he was basically just a neocon. His foreign policy is damn near indistinguishable from George Bush's. If you just looked without dates at the foreign policy decisions that occurred between 2005 and 2010, you'd be hard-pressed to figure out when Obama came in. Foreign policy is almost indistinguishable. But I understood there were people that felt that no one ever represented them, particularly a lot of black people in the inner city, that felt hopeful. Here comes this guy. He knows what it's like. I get that. I mean, I don't get that. I'm not black. I don't live in the... But I understand the feeling of, I feel like no one represents me in a position of power, and now here's this guy that might. There were things like that were similar with Trump. At least when it came to inner city issues, there were people that at least paid lip service to it. Oh, by the way, I hear my computer riling up here. If my computer crashes, go to YouTube and I'll finish the stream just on my phone. But that'll only be YouTube. So if it crashes, you know where to find me. I'll be on YouTube. It'll take me like 5 minutes, but I'll get on there. Prime K should have been first blood. There we go. There's something we give it. Was he old enough? Is he 35 yet? I don't know what Project 2025 is. Yeah, the stupid computer. I don't know what the hell it's called. Anywho, Trump represented something to people in rural America, blue-collar workers that feel that they've been demonized. It's the only group, like rural people, white people, Christian people, blue-collar workers. There is no institution that sticks up for them. They're treated like shit. They're struggling mightily. No one gives a shit. Thanks, Aftershock. Appreciate the sub.